Hey y'all, so today we're going to be talking about the case of Anita Cobby. So Anita Lorraine Lynch was born on November 2nd, 1959 in Sydney, Australia. But she was actually raised about 41 kilometers away from Sydney in a place called Blacktown. She was born alongside her younger sister, Catherine. Anita and Catherine were like peanut butter and jelly. Catherine was your average younger sister. Everything Anita did, she would want to, basically copy. Now, even though these were two wonderful young women, they were raised in a relatively high crime rated area. At that time, Blacktown was known for its crime rate, which was robbery and, theft and all of that amongst young people. But all of this would happen in the same group. So, if you didn't associate with any of those groups, you didn't find yourself in that kind of situation. From what friends and family said about her, she was very compassionate, loving, and caring. And she was a good listener. Her friends even said she was the type of listener where you would literally be able to tell she was listening to you because she would, rest her hand on her chin and she would literally just make eye contact with you, which I thought was such, a good way to remember her. Even though Anita had been blessed with good looks, that's not the path in life that she wanted to take. She actually followed behind her mother and ended up becoming a nurse. So, of course, if you want to become a nurse, you have to do nurse training. So she ended up taking this nursing class, and that is where she met John Cobby. Now, a little bit about John Cobby. He was about 3 years older than her. When they met, he was 23 and she was 20. They met in 1980. He was your average young male adult. He was mischievous. He liked playing pranks on people. And he really also had a passion for helping. So he ended up asking Anita out. They went out to dinner. They talked for hours. And then they went out for another dinner and another one. And they eventually started dating. John even noted that he didn't even think he could get anyone like Anita because he just thought Anita was such an amazing person. He literally fell head over heels. Okay, so far the timeline is in 1980, they met, started dating. 1981, he proposed. 1982, they got married and they found out that they were pregnant. But just 9 weeks after receiving the news, Anita actually miscarried. This is important because later on down the line, y'all will see why when everything happened, they weren't together. So because there was a lot of questions of, if she didn't have a ride and all this and that, why didn't she just call her husband? They were not together in that point of the case, so she was going home. But anyways, back to the story. So after this low blow to the couple, they decided to go on a trip. They ended up going to Rome. So now at this point that they're back in their jobs, they're back happy, they rekindled everything. John decided, let's try again. But at this point, Anita was kind of done with this situation. She just wanted to enjoy her life while she was still young, and then later on down the line focus on having kids. But in hearing that this kind of started growing, this made a wedge start growing between the two. So in 1986, just 3 years of being married, they decided to